And neither is our next performer. He's a very funny guy. He's making his stand-up New York debut. Give it up for Gurian!
It feels good to be back on stage again, because I had retired from performing for a while. And to show you how good I was doing when I retired, I was the only one who knew I retired. And I'm very excited, because I just found out I'm starring in a new poem. I got to lead in a new poem. And you know, I've been in poems before. It's not my first poem. I've been in a couple of sonnets, a couplet here and there. I even did a haiku once. But this poem is different. I'm in every single stanza. No, seriously, I am very excited because I took the plunge into real estate. I bought a men's room in Pennsylvania. You know, I know what you're thinking. Owning a men's room sounds exciting. And it is. You know, we're doing great. Most of the time, it's standing room only. But you know what I hate most about it? I hate when guys come in and ask if they can use my restaurant. I'm like, look, pal, I'm running a men's room here. You can't just come in here to use the restaurant. At least take a leak first. Adjust yourself. Something, you know? Didn't you see the sign? It clearly says, restaurant for patrons of the men's room only. I got another sign in the restaurant. It says, please wash hands before using the men's room. Well, I don't want anyone going in there with food on their hands. It's a brand new men's room. Anyway, I'm sorry to see so many people here tonight. I was kind of hoping for a smaller crowd. I enjoy working to a small crowd. Basically, I like working one-on-one. I like entertaining one person at a time, which I'm afraid is what I'm doing right now. And if that person would be kind enough to introduce themselves, I'd be very grateful. I like working small rooms because my agent books me in small rooms. Like the last gig he got me was the coat room in the Four Seasons. The coat room during the summer. During a heat wave. It's a very small crowd. No, but the truth is, my agent gets me the really, the strangest gigs, you know? Like, you know how some comics work these big cruise ships? My agent booked me on a rowboat in Central Park. Just my luck, I did so well, I got a standing ovation, I almost drowned. Next year, I hope to be working a kayak. And if that works out, I'll probably wind up entertaining one guy standing next to a puddle. That's the kind of career I got. Anyway, I don't know about you, but the weirdest shit happens to me. Very strange things happen to me. Like just last week, this girl broke up with me. I wasn't even dating her. A strange girl just walked up to me in the street. She goes, I'm sorry, but it's not working out. I said, what are you talking about? You don't even know me. She said, that's the problem. You don't open up. You don't communicate. She goes, how could I possibly know you? I said, no, you don't get it. I never even met you before. You're a perfect stranger. She said, you see, you're too demanding. Nobody's perfect. I said, trust me. When it comes to acting like a stranger, you're about as perfect as you can get. Let me see. And then, you know what it is, too? I'm too sensitive. See, I get attached to people too easily. Like I met this gorgeous girl in a dream one night. And now I really miss her. And I can't even call her. It was my dream, and I was too nervous to ask her for her number. Because I'm insecure, basically, you know? Really, I'm so insecure in my sexual fantasies, another guy gets the girl. This one girl once told me I was like an animal in bed, but it wasn't a hip animal, it was like a ferret or something. Not I have very weird luck buying things too, you know? I have very strange things happen. Like, I went to, last week I bought a new umbrella. The first night I used it, it got all wet. Now it's ruined. What a waste of money. You know? And then I bought a mirror, I took it home, and I decided I didn't like it. So I tried to bring it back, and the guy wouldn't take it. He said I already looked at it. I bought a sun lamp. I took it home, I sat in front of it for hours. I didn't get one drop of color. I took it back to the store. The guy said it was fine. He said it was having an eclipse. Then I went to one of those discount massage parlors. The guy said it was self-service. He gave me a bottle of lotion in an empty room. He told me to massage myself. It was pretty sexy. About halfway through, I thought about molesting myself. But then I changed my mind, because these days you can't be too careful. Who knows where I've been? It's very confusing, you know? A lot of things are confusing to me. You know, I find a lot of things, like things that other people take for granted, I find very confusing. You know, like that night when you have to turn your clocks ahead at 2 a.m.? What happens if you're supposed to meet somebody at 2 a.m.? What time do you show up? At 1:59, you're still a minute early. 1 minute later, you're an hour late. Those things are very confusing. You know what else? Don't you hate it when you wake up in the morning and you're really in the mood to vote and there's no election? What do you do in a case like that? How do you take away that urge to cast a ballot? You know? Those things confuse me. And have you ever noticed, you never see an infant that looks familiar to you? You ever noticed that? You never hear anyone say, you see that infant over there? Don't look, he's looking. No, that infant, I could swear I know him from somewhere. Where is it? The office, the gym, a club maybe? I don't know. It's probably not a club, because a lot of clubs are very restrictive about letting in infants. You know, and I know because I had a friend who was an infant, and when we'd go out, there were a lot of clubs that wouldn't let him in. Personally, I think it was the way he danced. I had to hold him under the arms. And then it was that hat. You know, that hat was a dead giveaway as far as I'm concerned. It was red and tied under his chin. And I told him not to wear it, but he said, stop treating me like an infant. I don't know if you could tell, I was a very nervous kid growing up. I've had a stomach ache since 1954. And I wasn't even born till 56. Some guys have tattoos that say, born to be wild. I have a tattoo that says, born to take Lomatil. I grew up in the Bronx in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood, and I never really felt like I fit in, because both my parents were black. And I wasn't even adopted. It was very confusing to me. But you know, in my neighborhood, if the kids wore any religious symbols at all, they'd wear like a Jewish star or a chai, very non-violent kind of symbols, you know? So when I grew up and I went outside the neighborhood, I was shocked to see kids wearing crucifixes. I'm like, holy shit, that kid's wearing a guy nailed to a cross. I didn't know it was a religion, I thought it was a warning. Like, this is what we do to you if we find you in the neighborhood. Because the truth is that Jesus was the victim of a violent crime. He was crucified. And people all over the world are wearing a reenactment of the way in which he was killed. It's true. What people are wearing, they're actually wearing a crime scene. So I say, it's a shame that Jesus had to be killed at all, but thank God he was killed in a way that people could wear. Because what if he had been eaten by sharks? How are you going to wear that? You know? What if he had been crushed by a chariot? People all over the world would be wearing little chariots with a guy flattened out like a pancake underneath. You know? How does that look to wear to church? That's not a nice look. What if he had one of those weird accidents where he's walking down the street and an air conditioner falls on his head? Jewelers would go crazy trying to make something like that. What if he had been stoned to death by a mob, you know? The weight alone. Gentile people all over the world would have bad backs just from trying to be religious, you know? Anyway, look, you've all been great. I'm Gurian. Thanks very much.